CTV Pinpoint Weather with meteorologist Rob Nucatola.
All right, everybody, we are checking in on Hurricane Michael. Winds sustained near the center of the storm, 140 miles per hour. It's moving to the north at 13 miles per hour. That path brings it to the coast a little bit later on, closer to lunchtime. It should continue to pick up forward speed over the past few hours. Just watching it on the satellite imagery, it really looks like it is moving a little bit faster. The faster, the better to get it here before it has time to get much stronger. Now, here's one of the computer models we've been leaning on to watch with this system, and it's trying to bring those heavier rains to the area by early this afternoon. Then it'll take most of the afternoon to bring those rains across our region before exiting to the north and east late tonight and early tomorrow morning. By tomorrow, a totally different look and feel, not only to our forecast, but to the actual air itself. We might finally even bring in some of that drier and cooler air we've been looking for once we get onto the other side of this tropical system. Now, there are lots of things we're watching with Michael. Of course, the wind and the rain going to be some of the bigger ones. And we'll get back to some of these in just a little while. But let's reiterate, 4 to 8 inches worth of rain, probably what we're looking at, especially east. Those winds, no matter what the sustained winds around the center of the storm are expected, where we are far removed from the center of the storm, we are expecting more tropical storm force winds, probably in that 30 to 60 mile per hour range with some higher gusts that could get to hurricane strength. But we're not expecting the winds up over 100 miles per hour. Severe weather is possible. We're going to see another graphic in just a few minutes. We've updated to a tornado watch for the area. Those are possible when you have a landfalling tropical system, but the storm surge near the coast is likely going to be the biggest impact, and that's not just for areas close to the center. That's around our entire Gulf Coast. We could be talking surge heights 8 to 12 feet above normal high tide, and normal high tides, by the way, will be this afternoon. I expect a lot of those coastal roads to wash out today and to see water way up on land, so it's going to be a mess near the coast. Tornado watch for our entire viewing area until 5 o'clock, until some of these spiral bands get north of the region. Of course, the hurricane warning still in effect because we expect the hurricane-like conditions. Now, this is what it looks like on the radar picture. We can see some of the first of those bands of rain spiraling north across our area. It's been our coastal locations and western spots that have been getting wet so far, but we're going to start to see more of that make more progress to the north over the next few hours. So we begin to see the rain this morning, the heaviest rains, the strongest winds. That's this afternoon. We do have quite a bit of thunder and lightning associated with the center of the storm. The more of that convection that we see, the more we consider the storm to be healthy. And this is definitely a pretty healthy looking storm. 22, 25 miles across for that eye. That's fairly common. And the distance from the center of that storm to land is about 100 miles right now. So moving at 13 miles per hour. So we're talking maybe 7, 8 hours, and we should start to see the center make it to land. Although I expect it to continue speeding up, so it probably comes earlier than that. Let's estimate around lunchtime, give or take an hour or two, and we'll see if that's indeed the way it goes. Here's a 6-hour loop of the satellite presentation, and watch it move very slowly until these last 2 or 3 hours, and not only does it start moving a little faster to the north, but it wobbles a little bit more, and that's got a lot to do with where those bursts of convection are. That's some of the thunderstorm activity that is really firing up in some spots north and west, whereas other areas just east of the center, some of that activity is winding down just a smidge. I'm going to widen out the view a little bit and show you the water vapor imagery, what's going on a little higher up in the atmosphere. And again, we see that green, that's some of the higher cloud tops, some of the colder convection, but we also notice the system itself is moving a little bit faster. Look out here a little farther to the west. We've got this orange color trying to mix in a little bit. This is a little bit of drier air. Now that could be something real interesting if enough of that can get pulled in behind it. You can even see maybe a little bit penetrating down here just south of the center. Maybe that gets wrapped in there a little bit, and that prevents it from getting much stronger. So we've got a couple of other players now entering the picture, not just that ridge of high pressure off the Atlantic that helped to shoo this a little farther west, getting it across the 86-degree longitude line, at points even closer to the 87-degree longitude line. And that's why we're taking the core of the storm farther away from our area, so we expect less direct impacts in the Big Bend and in South Georgia. Less does not mean zero. We are certainly still going to find plenty of wind and rain. Again, I still think coastal surge for our coastal counties is going to be the biggest issue for us today. Most of the winds we're dealing with now in that 5 to 15 mile per hour range. We've got spots like Apalachicola, closer to the coast where the winds are a little bit higher, seeing some gusts up to 40 miles per hour. Remember, a sustained wind is like a 30 to 60 second average. A gust is like a 2 or 3 or 4 second burst. So that's the difference between gusts and sustained winds. We're forecasting the wind, or at least the computers are, to get into that 30 to 50 mile per hour range for a big chunk of the afternoon. And that is definitely dangerous enough not only to knock out power, but to knock down tree limbs and to damage some trees themselves, and of course to cause any debris laying around to become projectiles out there. So we're going to have to deal with that through the afternoon, through the evening and nighttime hours. The winds will turn from the east and southeast to the west and northwest for tomorrow, and that'll be hello cooler and drier air coming on the other side. There's actually a lot of really good coming with our forecast once we get past today. Today, a windy, wet, and wild one. The biggest rains are in these concentric bands that line up 1, 2, 3, 4 deep between the center of the storm and some of these outer bands that we're already seeing rain from now. And I suspect as we go through the morning hours, we'll get waves where the rain seems real heavy, then lightens up a bit. But it's this afternoon that we expect to find the worst of the weather, and that's when we're likely going to have the strongest winds to go with the heaviest rains, and that's when we're going to feel the major impacts. A lot more to go over this morning. Don't forget to find us on Facebook, on Twitter, and WCTV.tv. We'll be right back.